Hey, it's your pal Mike from Sly Flourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy DM Prep. This is a weekly show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times on Twitch, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. In this case, I am running the Wizards of the Coast published hardcover campaign adventure Rime of the Frostmaiden. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. If you want to help support the work that I do here on this show, help support all the equipment and bandwidth costs, lots of various expenses that I have to keep the Sly Flourish empire going, you can do so by going to patreon.com/slyflourish and becoming a patron. The links are all down in the show notes below. It's a big help. For those of you who are supporters of the show, thank you very much. Supporters get access to a lot of interesting things, two exclusive adventures that are only available there. They also get access to Sly Flourish's Uncovered Secrets, which is a whole bunch of rules, D&D rules supplements to make it easier to run 5th edition. And also Sly Flourish's adventure generators, which are a whole bunch of thematic generators to help you build adventures around a particular theme, like Raiders of the Lost Ark or Aliens or Apocalypse Now and things like that. So for those of you who are supporting the show, thank you very much. So yes, we are playing Rime of the Frostmaiden. I've got lots of interesting thoughts and mistakes that I have made that I think will be useful that I would like to share today. But we will get into those, but let me start by getting my notes together. So, and talking about what happened in last session's game. So we'll generate a session planning template. Session notes template. And it is 7 March 2021, Sunday, Frostmaiden. So yes, let's go back to the notes from last session and let's review what happened. A lot of people say, like, I know how you prep for your game, but I want to know how it manifests. Most of the time people are asking me to stream the game. I'm not going to be streaming my games, I'm sorry. But I can certainly go back and talk about it. So I started with something that I have done before, which was they had just finished the Foaming Mugs quest in Bryn Shander, and they had selected the next quest, which was to go to Good Mead and figure out where the mead went and what happened down there. It started off, one of the fronts that I'm pushing forward is the cult of Oral. The children of Oral, they're known. No one ever calls themselves a cult. They call themselves the children of Oral. And the children of Oral are in all of the 10 towns, right? They exist in all of the 10 towns. And they are... They have managed to convince the populace that they need to make sacrifices to Oral. So I'm doing this because I was bothered by the fact that the town speakers would be behind the sacrifices that are being made. I thought that was too grim for me. It wasn't something I was really interested in. I thought it made the whole place kind of, like the characters aren't going to want to work to help the town speakers because the town speakers are murdering people, right? Like that bothered me. So instead, I have the town speakers are sort of helpless to prevent the sacrifices that are being coordinated by the children of Oral and agreed upon by the populace because they're afraid, right? I thought that was a more interesting angle on that. So I have this front of the cult of Oral, and I want to have that manifest. So I have a guy named Brother Styles. Brother Styles is in the WWF style. He's the toady of the main bad guy or one of the bad guys. And he comes in and says a bunch of stuff. And you don't hate Brother Styles, and he never hurts anybody or does anything, but he's an obnoxious ass, right? And he comes bursting into the bar and he's talking about this being out there called the Grey Walker or Brother Blue or Winter's Touch or the Walking Dude. And that he sees betrayal. He sees people's betrayal with her eyes and brings them to justice with his icy touch, right? So he's describing the murderer. He's describing Sefik Caltro, who's actually committing these murders. The interesting thing is Sefik Caltro, the murderer, is not a member of the Children of Oral. He is an independent follower of Oral on his own. He's sort of manifested by Oral. He probably has an interesting backstory. So I wanted to throw out ideas about, that there's this being out there who's murdering people. And that way, as they're seeing dead people, they go, oh my God, this is all the same guy. And they can start to figure out who's doing it and how's that trail working, right? And have a bit of a murder mystery as regards to Cold-Blooded Killer, which is one of the quests that can occur in any of the 10 towns. So he came in, he talked a bunch of stuff. He got, and he pointed at one of the characters and said, I know that you betrayed it because one of our characters, let's see, I should bring this up in a new tab. one of the characters, Ilda, avoided the lottery. She managed to survive. She was going to be in the lottery and was not. So that means Sefik is coming for her. Sefik knows, right? So that's pretty cool. So then they traveled to Goodmead. They made their way cross country, if I recall. They ran into the location, and they had a fight. Who did they fight? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, they had the griffin fight. So they battled a griffin along the way. They saw a pillar that was being used as a conduit of magical energy over the town. I.e., it's a pillar being used by the Arcane Brotherhood to do scrying across the entire town, right? And so they found this arcane amplification obelisk of the Arcane Brotherhood, and they fought a griffin along the way. And they saw that the griffin, and they captured a griffin egg, and the griffin egg was picked up by. This is a thread. I should probably keep track of this. Shadowhawk picked up the griffin egg, right? So I should add this. Has the griffin, the infested, has the infested griffin egg that lets him cast Detect Thoughts once a day. And I think what we're going to do is every time he takes a long rest, the egg comes closer to hatching. So maybe it's like we could roll essentially a DC, right? And the DC starts off with 2 of 2 plus 1 per day. It's a straight roll, right? And then I'll roll, and then eventually I'll hit it, and that means the egg hatches, and he'll wake up one day and the egg will have hatched and there's nothing in it. And he's like, what happened? And that's because it went in him, because he's infested by a mind flayer tadpole. So that was a fun thing that happened. It's also kind of fun because he's always the first guy to grab a magic item, and he did, and now he's gonna pay for that. I mean, so that happened. Then they made it to Goodmead, and they dealt with they actually had a fight with the children of Oral in Goodmead who were harassing people, and nearly killed one of them. And then they went away. So now the children of Oral really don't like. Will there be visible signs of the egg progress? I don't think so. I'm going to be mean. Like, he knows it's something, and it is an egg. But I don't, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm railroading. But I like the idea that he'll be infested by a mind flayer. He won't like it. He's the same guy who got killed by Bodax and has head ripped off by Vargul. So why not keep following along that trend? Speaker was murdered. The mead of Goodmead was stolen by a giant. They found the murderer. They know that the same murderer. This is probably a good secret for our next session. So let's go to our current sessions notes. And one of the secrets includes that I want to make sure is sometimes you want to make sure you reinforce a clue. Speaker of Goodmead was killed by the same who murdered the people in Bryn Shander, Dugan's Hole, and other places. So they found out that Speaker was murdered. They talked to, they immediately were picked up by, I gotta pull up my notes. Let's see, I got this. I can go to my Frostmaiden and D&D Beyond, and we go to Goodmead. So there's 2 town speakers vying for power in Goodmead. One of them is named Shandar Froth. Shandar Froth tried to make friends with the characters right away, and they instantly were like, I don't like this guy. And meanwhile, Olavessa Untapor is like keeping an eye on them. because she knows that Shandar is working them. So there's this balance in there. Shandar also has a secret connection to the Zinterim. So that can be, let's see, Shandar, this is a good secret. I think I have do I have a card for Shandar? If I don't, and it doesn't look like I do. I do, okay. Shandar Froth was placed in good Mead by the Zinterim, who watch over him and blackmail him for his influence over the town. I had fun with that with my other group, so I think we're gonna have some fun with that here too. So let's see. So they found that the speaker was murdered. They met with the town folk. They traveled across the icy tundra and made their way to the front door of, and I'm trying to remember if they had another random encounter along the way. I don't think they did. I don't think that they had I don't think they had another encounter on the way. So that the game ended with them at the gateway here, at the gateway to the Verbi Glare. So let's see. Mr. Flo says, I love your stuff. Quick question. Can you export the notes from Notion to something else like Word or PDF? You can export it to HTML. You can't do it to PDF. I found that HTML works the best because that way everything stays interlinked. You get this one local directory. You can do that. I think you can see that. If you go here and I go to, I can right click on it. Maybe here. I think I go here and it's up in this side. Yeah, so let's close this. And there's an export, right? And you click on export and you can pick your version. I haven't tried PDF, but HTML works well. The problem with printing to PDF is like all the interlinking you lose, and the interlinking is what makes it really powerful. So that's why it's nice to have it in HTML. But you can do it in HTML, and when I'm done with a campaign, I export it and set it aside in my own directories so that I have a nice archive of a campaign. So I do it every so often, not often probably as I should. Yeah, I don't know about exporting everything. Yeah, and you can certainly export to PDF for a single page. You could of course just print to PDF, so that can work. Where were we? So I also, man, I gotta open up too many notes here. Too many notes. Old session notes. We're gonna take a look at the ones we did on February 28th, right? And we're gonna look at the secrets. So what secrets were revealed during the game? Torg's merchant caravan made its way from Dugan's Hall to Goodmead to Bryn Shander and is on its way to Targos and then Tourmaline. I don't think that was exposed, but I am going to stick it in the new one. So I'm violating my own rules. Children of Royal House cultists in nearly all of the 10 towns. Yes, that was exposed. About half of the people are listening to the children. I think that was exposed. The town speakers worry about revolt should they act directly against the children. Yes, they're aware of that. The children's leader is Father Lake, who operates out of the House of the Triad in Bryn Shander. I don't think that was clear. So we're going to steal that. Goodmead speaker Kendrick Rizzlebrow denounced the children and the sacrifice and ended up murdered. Yes, people loyal to Kendrick took the town's meat out of town so it wouldn't be plundered by cultists and then lost it to a giant. Yes. The taverns all over 10 towns use this mead. Yes. 10 days ago, people saw a meteor strike through the sky. No, I did not do that one. Hunters have seen intelligent animals with glowing blue eyes out in the tundra. Some even say these animals speak. No. Guy's Grey Lion paid off Brother Lowell of the Children of Orel to remove his token from the library. I don't think that was. I don't think that came up, and I don't know that's going to be a secret for today. So as you can see, once again, of the 11 secrets I had, or 10 secrets I had, about 6 of them were revealed and 4 of them were not. No, 5 of them. So there were 11 secrets, 5 were not revealed. Again, showing that about half, I do 10 secrets and about half of them get revealed. And that's totally cool. The question is, I don't know which half. So the strong start. We have gazing. Could something happen? So the current situation is they are sitting out front of the Furby Glare, right? They're looking at it. Could, what could somebody, what could have happened? Could something happen? An avalanche, or see something in the night sky? What could they witness something? Like, you don't want to distract them from the job at hand, right? So, I want to give them an opportunity to kind of plan their entrance, but it's also kind of cool if something happens. Is there anything else that kind of ties to any of the other quests that are going on in this? That could happen. A vision, or, the egg moves, or the egg gives a vision of something. I have an idea. So we're going to do a vision. And we're going to go dig into Volo's Guide. So we'll go to sources, we go to source books, we go to Volo's Guide. And we're going to look at the section on Mind Flayers. Right? And how do they create an Elder Brain? Right? Don't they drop the Elder Brain. Mind Flayers use telepathy to communicate to each other, blah, blah, blah. Form a network of minds, each way, blah, 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 blah. Elder Brain, the most powerful member of Mind Flayer colony. Just as Mind Flayers treat throughout the single Mind Flayer colony sees or hears something, the Elder Brain. There limits the colony's reach. How is an Elder Brain? See Chapter 3 for more information on Elder Brains. So, the Elder Brain. So there's something about how Elder Brains are created, right? Elder Brain sprawls in a vat of vicious brine, touching on the thoughts of creatures near and far. Scrawls. I thought there was a whole thing about how an Elder Brain was created, and that it's that same thing that, like, that weird creature. Somebody help me out and find out where the whole thing about the Elder Brain exists, about the creation of an Elder Brain, because there's that kind of creature that fails at it, right? What's that thing called? Sarah something. Oh, I love that. Look, they're carrying the Elder Brain around. Minis, I thought there was a whole thing. There's a whole thing about the creation of an Elder Brain. And I'm trying to remember what it was. And I want to get it right because I think it's something I'm going to tug on. So there's tadpoles, nautiloid. No, those are the ships. There was a whole thing about there's those giant, like, evil purple worm creatures. Ceramorph. Let's take a look at that. I think you might be right. Is the Ceramorph a no, it's a creature that's in Volo's Guide. And it's a giant worm-like thing that's an Elder Brain that never actually got to turn into a brain. It's really pretty wild. see if it's under C. If not, we're going to have to look by. So I think I'm going to definitely drop a lot of Mind Flayer stuff into this, into my game here. Damn it. I'm terrible at this. And this is going to make the most boring podcast in the world. For people listening to podcasts, I'm sorry. I'm getting obsessed. All right, I'm going to look it up afterwards because obviously I'm having a terrible time finding it. So, Shadowhawk receives a vision of hooded figures surrounding an obsidian pool. One of them drops a tiny worm-like thing into the center of the pool. He's not your problem, of course, found it. As soon as I gave up, he's not your problem comes with the answer. Was that a tadpole from an Elderbrain's brine pool transforms an individual into an ultimate? No, but there's a big worm thing. Chunky Bananas says it's a neothalid. Yeah, there we go. Look at that thing, right? So, a slime-covered worm of immense size, neothalid, is the result of the Mind Flayer reproductive cycle gone horribly wrong. On rare occasions, the illithid colony collapses, typically after external assault, and the Elderbrain is killed. When that happens, the colony's tadpoles are suddenly freed from their fate. They are no longer served as food and in turn are no longer fed by their caretakers. Driven by hunger, they turn and devour one another. Only one tadpole survives out of thousands, and it emerges a neothalid. That's pretty cool. I thought there was something special. Is there who becomes the Elderbrain? Like, which one of the tadpoles becomes the Elderbrain? I guess is my question. That's what I need to figure out because I want to show that here. Shadowhawk turns and sees a cranium rat staring at it. So we're going to start with a vision. I know. I'm sorry. This is a long ass time to get here. We're going to start with a vision of Shadowhawk suddenly his mind is going to kind of twist and he's going to have this vision of this dark underground chamber of like organic walls, right? The walls look like these crazy organic alien H.R. Giger style walls. And there's an obsidian pool that looks like the pool was formed out of the rock. And there's like 12 figures surrounding it with hoods and the high collars. Right. And they're like the hoods are kind of moving and swarming. And one of them with long fingers reaches out. There's this black pool of oily liquid. And it reaches out and there's this like squirming tadpole thing. And it drops the tadpole into the center, which plops and begins to swim around through this oily liquid. And he kind of pulls back and all of them nod their heads. And we will, that will be the end of the vision. And they'll wake up and they'll look and there's a rat staring at him. The rat's head is caved open and its brain is sticking out and the rat's eyes are moving back and forth and there's like this psychic hum coming out of it. And if they leave it, the rat runs away. If they kill it, they kill it. So that'll be fun. So scenes, Shadowhawk's vision, and then plan the recovery of the Mead. And then it's infiltrate the Verbeeglair. Escape, return to Good Mead. And then new quests. So they still have two other quests. Choose the next quest. So let's talk about my mistakes. Who wouldn't want to hear? Oh man, I'm out of coffee. That sucks. Who wouldn't want to hear about my mistakes? When I originally read the adventure for Rime and the Frostmaiden, I was bothered by the fact that there were like 10 quests, for one for every town, and 2 other quests that could be done anywhere, and no real way to understand which quests we should put in front of the characters at any given time. And I felt like the quest system in Dragon of Icespire Peak was superior, and that I wanted to do it that way. So what I had done is I came up with my own quest outline, where I said, here are the starting quests that the characters get. And then I had tiers. Tier 1 quests, 3 of them. Tier 2 quests, 3 of them. Tier 3 quests, 3 of them. And that covered basically all of the quests in 10 towns were broken down into these 4 tiers, starting tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And my thought was every time they do 2 of them, the third one would go away, and then they'd get 3 new quests. What I discovered is that because the characters are traveling to the 10 towns, it makes more sense that they would go to a town and then hear about the quests that are occurring in adjacent towns. So instead of having this rigid like tiers, it almost makes more sense that I think the way I would recommend running it, now that I've done it twice, and did it not this way twice, is I would start them at Bryn Shander. I like Bryn Shander as a starting city. It's a great way to start. I think I would start with Foaming Mugs. I think that's a great starter quest. I would start with the hints of Cold-Hearted Killer. I didn't really like the Nature Spirits quest. Like, it's fine and you can give it, but it's kind of, I'm not doing it from this group, and it's fine because it's not a great quest. It's like, go find a Chwinga. I think, did I have them meet a Chwinga? I think I had them meet a Chwinga, and they got blessed by the Chwinga. Was something else that happened in last session's game too. So they saw it, but the Nature Spirits quest is not really that. It's not really that interesting. And the Cold-Hearted Killer quest can be expanded into a longer multi-level hunt, right? Which is what I'm doing. So start them with Foaming Mugs. And then what are the towns? Let's go to, let's see, Bink. And we'll go to the maps of Icewind Dale. So if we start in Bryn Shander, and we go to, if we look at Bryn Shander, so then the next missions that they could pick up that are nearby are, so I think you could start, so I think Bremen is the monster, right? So Good Mead is a good quest. Dugan's Hull is a good quest, and Bremen I think was the other quest that I offered. I think those are the 3. Yeah. So those I like starting off. If you give him Cold-Hearted Killer, and then you give him these next 3 quests: Lake Monster, Hold Up, and Mead Must Flow. Then once they've completed the quest, like they went down to Good Mead, right, and they learned about that one, then they can pick up the quest that's adjacent to Good Mead, which is. So they already know about the Dugan's Hull quest. So you can now do East Haven and Sierra Dinival's quests. You could offer up 2 other quests that are in the other direction. I might do just East Haven, right? Because they have Good Mead and they have East Haven. I might not give the Sierra Dinival and Sir Koenig quests yet, because I think those are pretty big ones. East Haven is which one? Toil and Trouble. So that one's an interesting one, right? The Toil and Trouble one is the one where they go against hags and stuff like that. So I move those down to the tier 3, which makes sense because Sierra Dinival, Sierra Koenig, and East Haven are all connected to Good Mead. So I think my point is that instead of locking them into certain tiers, I would basically just make sure that they have about 3 quests at any given time in their queue, and they can pick whichever ones they want to do. And then each time they do a quest, you replace it with a new rumor from another town, right? And that eventually you can sort of open them all up, and it can make, you want to generally give them the quest for an adjacent town, right? So in this case, I'd give the Toil and Trouble quest. I might open that one up. So if we go to the contents and we go to 10 towns, and they have the rumors, right? There's a quest rumor one, and the one in East Haven has the worst quest too. I like, I hear the captain of the guard is looking for adventurers to help with another task that may or may not be related. Who doesn't want that job, right? Oh, we have you for a task. To do what? I don't know. You got to go travel to go find out. So I think what we have to do is look at what East Haven's thing was. And I think it was that people went missing along the shore. Right? That was a weird description for that quest. It really ought to be rewritten. And if we go down to the quest in here in East Haven, Toil and Trouble begins at the same time as the burning of Red Wizard Zazan, who described in the Arcane Brotherhood, blah, 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 blah. The captain of East Haven's militia, Imdra Arlagath, takes notes of the characters. Some fishers have gone missing on Lake Dineshire, and she wants the characters to take a boat and search for them. She knows where the fishers like to fish and urges the characters to search that part of the lake first. If they heed and merit, they find adventurers fishing with a pull to the ice within a short walking distance from the a frozen cave previously hidden under snow and ice, right? So that's the real quest, is that, so I think we're going to drop that new quest on them on top of the ones that they've got. So choose the next quest. Weird monster at, what town was that? These are the two that they've already received. Bremen, right? They know about wolves kidnapped children in Dugan's Hole, and fisher folk are missing in East Haven. So those are the next quests that they've got, right? So I think you can run Rime pretty straightforward from this idea that they do a quest, they learn about other quests, they choose a quest, they go do a quest, they learn about more quests. And you do that throughout chapter 2. And then my thing is that like they essentially have to do, they level up right away. They level up right away after doing their first quest. So they're already second level. They get to third level by the time they've done 3 quests. So in my case, they've done 1. They have to do 2 more before they get to third level. Then, and then at that point, they have to do 4 quests to hit 4th level. And that means you will have done 8, I think that's 8 quests thereabout of 8 of the 10 towns quests before they hit 4th level. And at that point, it's ready to get into chapter 2, right? So that way you're doing most of the quests, right? They can skip a couple, and they get to choose sort of which ones they want to skip. So that's kind of a nice way to go. And that has worked pretty well. I think so far that's worked well. So I'm not sticking to the tiers so much as it's like they can do the quest in any order, and then they'll learn about new quests. So once they finish let's say they go to East Haven and they do that quest, then they'll learn about the Caer-Dineval quest, because that one's the neighboring town. So that way they're not jumping all over the place, right? If they decide to go back to Bryn Shander, they might learn about other adjacent quests in Bryn Shander, like Moose Jaws or the Lost Expedition to Kelvin's Cairn in Targos, right? And now they got a couple others. I guess Moose Jaws is in Lonely Wood. But eventually they'll learn all the quests, and then they can, like, their quest log will get big, and they could go, which ones of these do we want to do? And they know that, they have to do 6 of them or whatever before they get to 4th level. So that all works out. And motivation-wise, if you recall from session 0, we made sure that the motivation of the characters was to help the people of 10 towns survive the endless night. And all of these quests are helping with that. Like, helping the people of 10 towns is what they're about, and that's what they're doing. So that works well. So I've got my scenes laid out, and this is certainly good enough for this session. I don't think my session is going to go longer than this. So what other secrets do we want to drop in here? The standing stones of Dugan's Hole have been there longer than anyone remembers. A strange old elf hangs out there sometimes, can be seen there sometimes. That's a fun one. An ancient cult worshipped an elder evil known as Thrune. At the Standing Stones. So what's that about? If you go to Dugan's Hole, you will notice that, let's see, let's go to Dugan's Hole. Dugan's Hole. And go to, so there's these 20 stones of Thrune. Thrun. If you go Google about Thrune, there was a monster called Thrune in 4th edition times. But I'm going to change that around. And I went and dug up the Elder Evils book from the 3.5 edition. And I looked, and there's a... there is an Elder Evil in there called Father Lack. Is it? No, I'm screwing that up. Hang on. Let's go look at my Frostmaiden NPCs. Because I threw them in here. So there's Thrune. And then I have a creepy Father Limerick. The Collar of Thrune. So if you look in Elder Evils, there's a Elder Evil called Father Limerick. I'm changing things around a little bit. I'm making Father Limerick. This is a great picture, by the way. This is from, this picture is from Elder Evils, right? And it's like, hey, look, it's an eclipsed sun in the ice and a crazy elf who with sharp teeth and some dude's hand. I don't know what that's about. But I was like, that's a great picture, right? That dude's creepy, right? And Thrune is like this, imprisoned creature in the ice. And I'm like, imprisoned creature in the ice? Hey, we're in Frostmaiden. Like, what if there's something even worse than Oral out there, right? So, Father Limac, let's see, a strange old elf named Father... Two fathers, Father Lake and Father Limac. That's going to be confusing. Can be seen there sometimes. An ancient cult worshipping an elder evil known as Thrune at the Standing Stones. Thrune is supposedly trapped in an icy prison. What would be the best way to nudge players into finding out about secrets and clues without saying the actual secret and clue? So there's no problem reading it out. Like, this is mostly to get your head around these ideas, but then you describe it however it makes sense in the game, but you got a general idea. So, they go to the Standing Stones. There's weird ancient glyphs on the stones. One of the characters touches it. They make a check. They take psychic damage, or maybe not, but they get this vision, and they get a vision, and then like an old elf shows up, and the old elf is like, I'm Father Limac, and you're like, oh, are you one of the members of the Children of Oral? And he's like, Children of Oral? Like, they've been, where were they 10 years ago? Like, no, you need to worship Thrune. And they're like, what the hell's Thrune? And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Just, here's a brochure. I hate to say it, Holy Limp. The answer is wing it, right? Like, the purpose of the secrets and clues is to have something substantial that you can drop in front of the players. But how you drop that in there is how you improvise, right? You just... idea from DM Sam's Cult of Oral book is that the stones are being used by Oral for upcoming Midwinter Festival. Yeah, you could. I think I like the Thrune idea, though. I don't like... I want to, sometimes it's like I want to throw like more cults than we can shake a stick at, right? And the idea that there's a cult of Thrune as well. And maybe there's a connection between the cult of Thrune and the cult of Oral. Maybe the Children of Oral aren't worshiping Oral at all. They're actually worshiping Thrune and don't realize it. How's that for crazy? Right? And Father Limac is actually like the real one. Yeah, my go-to is cultists. I love cultists. They're my favorite. They're like my favorite bad guys. All right. So what other secrets do we have? Oh, a meteor soared across the sky to the south about a 10-day ago. Weird metal debris. I'm going to make it should be more than a few 10-day ago. I don't know. Because, like, if the Mind Flayers are already creating a brine pool It might take some time. Weird metal debris has been found, strewn, I don't know how to spell strewn, across the around the southern mountain range. This is, so this stuff comes up in this adventure, in the other Verbeeg that's coming to court Doug. Doug is the Verbeeg that's there. And there's another Verbeeg that is coming to say hello, and she's bringing a big basket of weird broken parts with her. And those broken parts are actually part of a Mind Flayer ship. So that could be pretty cool. I'm going to say a few 10 days ago. It's been a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more secrets. So we probably want to throw some Cephalic Caltro secrets in there. We have a Torg merchant caravan made its way. Let's see. There have been... So... There have been multiple murders of those who have not sacrificed to Oral. And we need to have a timeline here. So Tor, I think, let's see, we talked about, Tor's merchant went its way to Dugan's Hull to Goodmead. So let's see. Let's backtrack the timeline, because this is where this is where some work comes in with the murder mystery thing. You actually have to have a logical progression path for the murder. So let's say that Torgs, and we'll backtrack, right? We got to figure out the amount of time it takes. You kind of assume a day's travel between all these locations. So let's say it last started in Sierra Koenig, and went from Koenig to Dinaval to East Haven, to Goodmead, to Dugan's Hole, back to Goodmead, to Bryn Shander, to Targos, to Tourmaline, right? So that's where, I guess, it's probably hitting the big cities. So let's see, starting in East Haven. No. I guess we'll simplify things, right? So we'll start with, they were in Dugan's Hole about a 10-day ago. Then it was about 5 days ago when they were in Goodmead for a couple days. 3 days ago, they left Goodmead and went to Bryn Shander. They were in Bryn Shander around the same time that the characters are in Bryn Shander. Then the caravan went to Targos after. So they are in Targos now while the characters are in Goodmead. And they're heading to Tourmaline. So the murders would have been Dugan's Hole, Goodmead, Bryn Shander, 2 in Bryn Shander, 1 in Targos, and then she's currently going after somebody in Tourmaline. That's probably how the murders are going to go. So let's... so what did I say? So what we can do these in different order. So Bryn Shander... at the time the characters are there. Goodmead. 3 days earlier. Dugan's Hole. About a 10-day ago. Old man refused to turn out his fire. Goodmead was the guy who skipped the lottery. Then what is Targos? I think Targos probably did there, so he probably didn't kill anybody in Targos. Would he have murdered anybody in Targos? Is there a good reason why Cephalic Caltro would have murdered somebody in Targos? Did somebody just buy their way? Another person bought their way out of the lottery? Um, how about the guy's name was called and he packed up everything he had and fled and then was found murdered right outside. And then Tourmaline. We have, and I'm pulling this from my other game. We have Blanche. Blanche Northcloud refuses to turn out her fire. So Targos is present, right? Because it's happening the same time that the characters are doing what they're doing. And then this is Tourmaline is going to be in about 3 days. So the murders that they know about, and we'll put these in order. So Dugan's Hole happened 10 days ago. Good Mead happened 3 days after that, or 3 or 4 days after that. Bryn Shander happened at the time that they were there. 2 victims. One who bought their way out of the lottery. And one, and the priest who allowed it. The child, that's 3 days back. Yeah, we're talking Golden Girls. Dorothy and Rose help protect Blanche. I think we'll have the Golden Girls in here. I think that'd be funny. So those are, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll put one more secret in here, and I'm going to put it above so I can keep my timeline going. Because that, problem with murder mysteries, you have to have timelines and logic and reason. Murder mysteries are a pain in the ass, if you ask me. So what else? What other, I need one more secret, one other cool thing. Is there anything from the, like I've already got the quests, right? And I guess those are kind of like secrets. Public opinion of the children could be swayed with the right propaganda. Mostly like, could they hire town criers and bards and things like that? It might be, so this could be an opportunity to introduce a bard, an NPC bard. Let's go to my quick links and let's go to NPCs. Let's come up with Bardolph is probably Noah. I like the idea of Noah. So we're going to have a bard named Noah. We need another name for him. Let's go back to my random name generators. No, that's not right. I don't want that. Names. Bear Rock, Foxbrow, Blue Storm. I'd kind of like a Blue Harp. Let's go with Blue Harp. I lost my notes. Noah Blue Harp. Humorous, lawful good, elven bard. Wearing a purple tunic. He is part of a consortium. A consortium of minstrels. I don't know how to spell minstrels. Known as what? The Silver Carol, the Silver Choir. The Silver what? The Silver Song. That's good. Willing to steer the people of 10 towns away from the children of Oral for a price. That gives an option for the characters. This is sort of a way to steer money, and the idea that there's like a traveling minstrel group known as the Silver Song, and they sing and they dance and they do things all across 10 towns. And they, unfortunately, they need to live, and they'll take money, and making song takes money. They're not going to do it for exposure. But they can start to steer people away. And it's probably like, how much money would they need? What kind of costs are we talking about here? So to start, he probably needs a 20 gold piece retainer to get the process started. It's probably 20 gold pieces per town to begin, for a week of influence. And how much would that sway them? They could kind of see, like, is it 10% a week or 20% a week? It's kind of the amount of money that they want to pay. How much was it? 10 gold pieces per percent of the town. So they have like it's a 50-50 split now, right? If it's a 50-50 split now, how much would it cost to influence it by 10%? 20 gold. It probably escalates, right? I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'll wing it. It's not a fixed science. Anyway, so Noah Blueharp is an NPC that we're gonna introduce, who can help steer the people away from the church, from the children of Oral. Fantastic locations. So we know that we have the Verbiglare. The Verbiglare. And I don't think we necessarily need, because they're going to go back the same path, so I don't think we need any other fantastic locations today. I think we're all set. NPCs, I don't think we need any other NPCs. Monsters, we have Verbigs. I don't need to worry about storing the monsters in here. I don't know who they are. But we have Verbigs, and we have Ogre, and that's pretty much it. Treasure, I think in the last session, I forgot something vital too. We're going to do it right at the end, which is I forgot to go over the characters. I skipped right to the strong start. So, but we're going to look at the last game because there was a magic item. Oh, I think we're going to do a Pearl of Power with a tribal ghost, with a barbarian warlord ghost attached. So that's set. So let's take a look. In the last few minutes here, we're going to go back. I should have done this to begin with, which is look at the characters. We have 6 characters for our game today. We have Ilda. Ilda is a half Goliath. I really need to fill out the rest of this stuff. I'm going to do that today. Right after this show, I'm going to do that. So Ilda is a half Goliath who has suddenly sort of found her size. Her family are both members of the Children of Oral. Her real name is Jacqueline Maleficent. Her parents are like the Malfoys. She was raised within the Children of Oral, but then managed to get away from them and spend some time with the Goliaths and learned about her barbarian, or not a barbarian, but her barbarian ways. And she is kind of awkward and quiet until she's pissed, and then she explodes into violence. She escaped the mark of sacrifice of Oral, which therefore she is hunted by Sefik Kaltro. Auken Dawncaller. Auken is a member of the Wormdoom Crag Goliaths. Had dreams about something massive under the ice and would like to find this threat to his people. He is a Goliath fighter. We have Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk is a drow sorcerer from Menzoberranzan. I still need to think up like what family from Menzoberranzan he is from, but he made he laughed at the wrong time and now is outcast from his race. He has cold, frozen skin and he carries the griffin egg. He's going to be in all kinds of trouble. Gore Wan Alcazar is a secret member of the secret of the Grey Castles. He is a merchant who has traveled along the Sword Coast and finally to here. Torgs is a rival group of his. He has Scrimshaw cufflinks and a boss cummerbund. He is a I forget what he is. What class is he? He is a cleric. That's right. He's a trickster cleric, right? Sort of a custom half-orc. We have Perrin Fat Rabbit. Perrin is a halfling ranger. Knows friend of Ilda. Ilda looks up to him a lot. And is a prior, and you know, she's a prior customer and protege of his. Mentor of Ilda. Fellow merchant, paranoid though. He's worried about things. He has secrets. He has lazy dreams of being kidnapped by an alien race and then crash down into the ice. So he was on that ship. If he saw it, you know. And then we have Candle in the Dark. Candle is running, Tabaxi Rogue, running from the Xanathar from Waterdeep and is hidden in 10 towns. Pretty young. And those are the characters. So lots of things. I definitely think we're going to tug on that Mind Flayer, the Illithid angle, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll let that sort of expand over time. Eventually, this campaign's going to sort of end up my own thing, which is fine. That's how it works best. So I think with that, let's take a last look at the notes and see how I feel. How do I feel? I feel fine. Like I know where we're starting. I got a fun, strong start. I know where we're going for this thing. I've got my quest set up for the next time. I've got a pile of secrets and clues. I feel good. I think we're all set. I get to, let's see, I can remove this stuff from it. And we can remove this stuff from it. These are my scratch pad stuff. So we are all set. What else we got? Anything else? I think that is it. I think we're all done. So I think we're going to call it a day. I want to thank everybody for hanging out in Twitch today with me. It's always a great pleasure to talk to all you guys. I want to thank you if you're listening to the podcast. Sorry for all the dead air. I know that sucked. I was thinking about Illithid stuff. And we will see everybody next week and see how it goes and see where we're going to head next in our next episode of Rime of the Frostmaiden. So thank you all very much. Enjoy your day and get out there and play some D&D.